Hi, it's Chris. I'm happy to be back. I had a great vacation though, and I'm looking forward to reading your metaphors papers and reading your first bloggeries this week. So the purpose of this video is to inform you about your second bloggery and also tell you a little bit about the literature review that will be 25% of your grade. And thirdly, give you some information about SharePoint. So let me start off with the prompt for Bloggary 2, which is due sometime this week. And I don't really have a deadline, I just would like you to do it sometime this week. So the second Bloggary depends on having you read chapters 6 through 11 in the reading text. So make sure that you've read those chapters 6 through 11. I think that you'll find that this textbook is very conversational and pretty easy to read. So here's the prompt. How do secondary students struggle with content area reading? And how might you help them with a reading strategy or two? And most of the chapters have to do with different reading strategies, pre-reading, during reading, and post-reading. Different strategies to break down reading tasks for students to make the material more comprehensible for our students. And it's good for every teacher to have a bag of tricks, keeping in mind that not every trick is going to work for your content area, but maybe some of them will. So that's Bloggary 2. And before you undergo completing Bloggary 2, make sure that you understand the rubric in your syllabus. How I evaluate the Bloggaries has to do with the problem and solution kind of format, as well as some other aspects that you need to be familiar with so that you can be metacognitive about how to get a perfect 5 on this Bloggary. So let me talk about the literature review. It's worth 25% of your grade. I'll also be calling your literature review an annotated bibliography. What I'm going to do is go to SPU at some point during this week and find recent articles where teachers were using literacy in classrooms, in special education environments, and also in STEM environments, kind of best practices, or it might be statistical kinds of research that kind of the latest and the greatest research in classrooms that will look like yours. And so what you'll be doing in this literature review is summarizing the literacy strategy or strategies that were used, and then evaluating the applicability of the research that you'll be reading. And I'll give you more detail throughout as this class goes on about the literature review. But I know that at least one person who's in a STEM field has said that the reading text doesn't feel particularly applicable to math. And so it might help people who feel that they're in this position to do some outside reading. So I'm going to go in this week and provide you with some extra reading that you can get started on. Now, what else did I want to say? SharePoint information. Okay, so some of you are having difficulty with SharePoint. So I know that Dr. Denton has made a video on how to submit to SharePoint, and he has other materials. I'm going to put all of this information under announcements. And if SharePoint didn't work for you this time, you can try again with Bloggaries 2, 3, 4, or 5. The point is, for every course that you take at SPU, you need to prove that you've mastered some principle of hope. And for this classroom, it's O2. So you need to prove with an artifact and with some description of O2 how you've met that particular state standard for teachers. And later this week, I will be evaluating some of your SharePoint articles, and I'll give you examples of what I think are pretty exemplary examples from people in these classes that you're taking, so that you'll have a writing exemplar if you're confused about SharePoint or your Bloggaries. And I'll let everyone who submitted via SharePoint, I'll let you know if you're doing it right, or if you're not doing it right, kind of direct you to the information on Blackboard. And if not, you can try again with Bloggary 2, 3, or 4, or 5. So the point is, for every class that you take at SPU, you should be meeting some standard, and that standard needs to be placed on Blackboard and then submitted to the instructor to evaluate via SharePoint. So at the end of your training here, there's not tons and tons of evaluation for Dr. Denton to do. Okay. So that's pretty much it for this video. If you have questions, don't hesitate to email me. I'll try to make things clear. I hope this is helpful and it's not rambling. Blessings. Have a great week. Bye.